Already a household name for individual brilliance, a true legend in the making, finally clinches that elusive, long-awaited team glory. Today, we're taking a deep dive into precisely that scenario, focusing on one of football's most compelling and, dare I say, redemptive stories from the past season.
That's the core of it, yeah. We're zeroing in on Harry Kane's truly incredible 2024-25 Bundesliga season. Our sources don't just, list his recent accolades. They really paint a fascinating portrait of a player at the absolute peak of his powers, a master of his craft who, for so long, had only individual records to his name. This season, he finally married that individual brilliance with a major team trophy. The real story here, I think, is the culmination of years of relentless individual excellence finally finding its ultimate collective triumph.
And our mission for you as we navigate these sources is to extract the most important nuggets. We want to help you understand not just what he achieved, because frankly, a lot of the surface level stats are already out there, but why this particular season has been so monumentally significant for him, for Bayern, and, well, for his legacy. Get ready for some surprising layers of insight and a closer look at what makes this deep dive so compelling. So kicking things off, our sources make it abundantly clear. Harry Kane was named the 2024-25 Bundesliga Player of the Season. He's described as one of the defining figures of this past campaign, and when you look at his impact, that feels almost like a poetic understatement.
Well, what's truly insightful about this award isn't just the recognition itself. It's what it says about Kane's leadership and, frankly, his immediate impact in an entirely new environment. I mean, many players take a season, maybe even longer, to truly find their feet. Right, to assimilate into a new dressing room, a new culture, a new tactical system. But Kane, he became the focal point, like immediately. It wasn't just about his goals and assists, impressive as they were. It was about how he orchestrated attacks, how he drew defenders, how he opened up space for his teammates, and how he ultimately set the tone for Bayern's entire offensive strategy. He didn't just join the team and score. He fundamentally defined their attack in his debut season, making them, well, a much more formidable force.
That's a crucial distinction, isn't it? The idea of him defining the attack. And Kane himself really captures the essence of it, showcasing that team-first mentality. He's quoted saying, "To be named player of the season is a great achievement. There are some amazing players here in the league. And to do it in the same year we won the title as well just makes it that little bit more special. It means a lot." That quote really resonated with me, especially the emphasis he places on the title.
It speaks volumes about his perspective, doesn't it? His humility and gratitude, they just shine through in every word. He doesn't just claim the glory from himself. He immediately credits the club here, all my teammates, all the staff, stating quite clearly that without them, of course, it wouldn't be possible. He views individual recognition as just an added bonus to the hard work. And look, this isn't just some boilerplate athlete quote, right? It reflects a deep understanding of collective effort, especially coming from a player who's consistently performed at such an astronomical individual level for so long. It's a subtle but significant shift in emphasis for someone whose career has often been defined by his personal tallies. Now he's openly acknowledging the team as the true source of his individual accolades. It speaks to a player whose primary objective, I think, has always been team success, with personal records being a happy byproduct.
Absolutely. It's a powerful insight into his mindset, almost a quiet defiance of that individual records narrative that has followed him around. But speaking of individual achievements and maybe the foundation for all that collective success, we simply cannot ignore his historic goal-scoring dominance this season. Our sources state that the striker scored an incredible 26 times for Bayern this past campaign. For some players, that's a career highlight. For Kane, it almost feels like, well, a standard Tuesday, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're not wrong there, and that's precisely what makes this so remarkable. When you look at the bigger picture, this isn't just a great tally, it's a genuine historical achievement. Kane became the first player in Bundesliga history to be top scorer in his first 2 seasons playing in the league. Just think about that for a moment. What does it truly take to achieve such consistent, immediate dominance? To step into a new league, adapt to new teammates, learn new tactical systems, even a new language and culture, and immediately perform at a level no one else has before in terms of scoring leadership. It's quite something.
That's a fantastic question, and they're intrinsically linked, aren't they? The individual performance and the team result. I'd argue the team trophy for Kane was the greater psychological hurdle, perhaps, but the consistency in a new environment speaks to something fundamental about his professional approach. It's more than just raw talent, isn't it? It has to be an unparalleled level of, innate football intelligence and an almost obsessive professional adaptability. He's not just scoring goals, he's doing it with relentless consistency, irrespective of the setting.
Exactly. And it wasn't just about putting the ball in the net himself, which,
let's be honest, he did with such regularity. Our sources also highlight his playmaking contributions. He provided 8 assists. This really showcases his role as a truly complete attacking force. He's not just a finisher, he's a creator, someone who can unlock defenses in multiple ways. He genuinely makes the players around him better.
So if we synthesize his total direct contributions, we're looking at an astonishing 34 goal involvements. That's 26 goals plus those 8 assists. That statistic alone puts him firmly among Europe's elite attacking players, showing he truly dictates the flow of the game in the final third, both by scoring and by setting up his teammates.
And to really put that number into perspective, our sources give us a fascinating comparison. Only Liverpool's Mo Salah, with 46, has had a direct hand in more goals across Europe's top 5 leagues in 2024-25 than Kane with 34. Now, that's incredible company to be in, and it really solidifies his status as one of the very best in the world. However, some might look at that gap, between 34 and 46 and at Salah's higher number, and perhaps wonder if the Bundesliga isn't quite as competitive as, say, the Premier League, maybe allowing for slightly inflated numbers for Kane. How would you counter that perspective, given the league's reputation?
That's a fair point to raise, yeah, and people do raise it. While Salah's numbers are, frankly, exceptional, I'd argue that the strength of the league is only part of the equation here. Kane's achievement isn't diminished by the context of the Bundesliga. He's playing for Bayern, yes, a dominant team, but he's also performing at a level that even within that dominant team is record-breaking. His consistency across 2 seasons, immediately adapting and thriving, that speaks to a foundational quality that transcends league dynamics. It's about his technique, his movement, his spatial awareness, his decision-making. These are universal attributes of a world-class striker, and he's demonstrating them against high-quality defenders week in and week out. The Bundesliga might have a perceived top-heaviness, sure, but the competition is still fierce. And his numbers are a testament to his individual brilliance, not just a reflection of, say, a lack of defensive quality from opponents.
I completely agree. It's about the unique skill set he brings to the table. He's not just a poacher waiting in the box. He's a complete forward. He drops deep, he links play, he pulls defenders out of position, creating opportunities not just for himself, but for wingers and midfielders making those runs. His understanding of the game is just so advanced that he consistently finds ways to be effective, regardless of the defensive scheme thrown at him. This comparison, while highlighting Salah's amazing season, really only underscores Kane's consistent, multifaceted threat.
So we've established his individual brilliance, his historic numbers, his incredible adaptability. But the ultimate validation for a player like Kane, arguably, has always been that team prize. And this season, he finally got it, didn't he? The Bundesliga title. This is where it gets really interesting, I think, because it's not just another medal. It's a massive pivot in his entire career narrative.
Precisely. Absolutely. Having previously earned numerous individual accolades throughout his career, think back to last season's Golden Shoe as Europe's top scorer, or multiple Premier League Golden Boots. Kane had, until now, this glaring omission in his resume. He had the personal glory, the records, the goal tallies, but never that major senior team trophy. Now he finally has his hands on the Bundesliga title. For a player of his caliber who has consistently been recognized for individual brilliance but had this kind of perceived gap, this is a monumental, almost cathartic moment. It feels like that. It's the moment where individual mastery truly translates into collective triumph, silencing a narrative that has followed him for years.
The narrative arc here is just so compelling, isn't it, for years. For all his incredible talent and all his individual records, he was seen as someone who just couldn't quite get over the line for a team trophy. It was almost a running joke for some, a sad point for others, really. He'd come close so many times, cup finals, title races, but never quite sealed it. You can almost picture the sigh of relief, that immense weight lifted from his shoulders. Imagine the years of pressure, the jokes, the endless "he can't win a trophy" narratives. This isn't just a medal, it's vindication. This Bundesliga title just shatters that perception.
It absolutely does. And this really connects to the bigger picture of a player's legacy and how it's perceived by fans, by pundits, by history itself. Securing a major team title, especially after a career so defined by individual records without such a trophy, fundamentally shifts public perception. And it shifts how his career will ultimately be remembered. It moves him from being just an individually brilliant player, a fantastic goal scorer, to a proven winner on the grandest stage. It's not just an achievement, it's a redefinition. It answers that question that many had about his ability to contribute to a trophy-winning side. Silencing any lingering doubts about his capacity to deliver collective success, it adds that missing piece, doesn't it? That missing piece that completes the puzzle of a truly holistic, world-class player.
So what does this all mean for Harry Kane, for Bayern, and, well, for how we view his place in football history? We've seen his 2024-25 season deliver a spectacular trifecta. Bundesliga Player of the Season, retaining his top scorer crown, and finally, that coveted first senior team trophy. It's a remarkable blend of individual mastery and collective success, a narrative arc completed with the sweetest possible ending.
That's the perfect summation, yeah. This season truly illustrates the journey of a world-class athlete reaching new, perhaps more profound heights. It shows us that even after achieving immense personal recognition, after shattering records and proving himself among the very best in the world, the pursuit of team glory remains a powerful, perhaps the most powerful motivator. And securing it becomes a significant defining marker in a player's story. It's a capstone on an already illustrious career, adding a dimension that was, let's face it, previously conspicuously missing.
So for you, the listener, consider this. How does a season like this, where individual accolades perfectly align with team success, change the way we view a player's entire career? Does securing that first major team trophy truly redefine a legacy and rewrite the history books? Or is it simply another, albeit incredibly significant, chapter in an already illustrious career? What does it take for a player to go from being considered a great talent to an undeniable winner? Something to think about.